Hello and welcome to As the Skeleton Key Turns. I am your host, Gray, and I am joined by the wonderful, lovely Christina, as
Hello.
usual. And today we have two cool things. We have something from her, something from me. But the one thing I want to mention to you all is since this is a brand new podcast and you all are just learning who we are, what we do, and kind of the general basis of how cool we are. I'm not saying that, we're like completely awesome, but we're pretty fucking awesome. Just want to let y'all know that we have a Facebook page, we have an Instagram page, we of course are polishing our Discord, which I have to work on after this podcast because, good lord, it looks like poop. It is very, very basic, but there is one thing that I would like to point out here, and I want to shout out Christina for this because she is my lovely, lovely other host. I wouldn't say co-host because we're both co-hosts. We're not, not as one as, you know what I mean. Whatever. Got to be real with y'all people here. So if you look on our Facebook page, the very first thing you're going to be hit with is the most wonderful post in the world. I absolutely adore it. But to preface, every door has a story, and some were locked for a reason. As the Skeleton Key Turns is a deep dive into the shadows of history and the unexplained. Join us as we unlock the vault on cold cases that defy logic and paranormal encounters that haunt the living. From grisly true crime to the things that go bump in the night, we hold the key to the mysteries you were never meant to solve. Written by Christina. Oh, I love it. I adore it so fucking much. That is on our Instagram, of course, and our Facebook, so you will see both things. We can be found as the Skeleton Key Turns on both social platforms. Of course, this is podcast number 2. Season 1, episode 2, chapter 1.
Yeah.
Chapter 1.
Chapter
No.
1.
Yeah, chapter 1, subchapter 2. Now it sounds like a law degree thing. Fuck law degrees. Those are bullshit. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right on into it. Of course, I'm going to be a nice gentleman here and say, ladies first. Christina, what do you have for us today?
So we're going to talk about Spring Hill Cemetery in Brooksville, and me and you have both been there.
Yes, we have.
So this cemetery is located on Fort Dade Avenue in Brooksville, Florida, and the cemetery began in the late 1850s by Ada Bell Lykes. This land was previously called the Brooksville War Cemetery and was used for Civil War burials, but was then transformed into an African American historical site. However, the cemetery is actually part of a larger area of land that comprises 3 plots. Across the street is the Lykes Ayers Cemetery. Fort Dade Road separated these 2 cemeteries, one side for whites and the other side for African Americans. So a lot of history there. So
Fair.
When entering the Spring Hill Cemetery, there's a long dirt road that leads to the gates. In a large clearing, you can find the cemetery. Many state that this clearing is one of the most haunted cemeteries in the state of Florida. Many stories of tragedy may have occurred right on this ground, but I have been unable to find any actual documents to support any actual crimes that occurred. As for the rumors, these fall anywhere from hangings to KKK activities and brutality, and there was a rumor of a slaughterhouse that was used for nefarious activities on this grounds.
Yes.
So individuals report that if you are there at sunset, you can see a figure hanging from a tree. There are reports of strange lights and hearing a baby cry. Many report seeing groups of figures by their headstones after photographs have been taken, and some report rotten smells. People report hearing drums and screams in the distance. I read one account that someone saw a baby crawl in front of them. It's very interesting.
Ooh.
So what I do know is that there are several witches who have gone to this cemetery to perform dark magic. And there is a tree there that used to have many magical symbols and items on it. But the energy in this cemetery was very good for magic, and several people I personally know have used it for just that. All kinds of different spells and things, so lots of good energy there. The cemetery is very remote, and there was an increase in drug-related activity. Many people said, don't go to the cemetery. It's very dangerous. but that's because of the people you may meet there, not actually the dead that reside there. Due to this and the vandalism that took place, the cemetery is now gated and private property. I actually drove by it the other day and it was open, but it's mostly locked. You can't get into the cemetery without permission, and they're really not granting any permission there. It is active still. People are still being buried there. On the west side of the cemetery, the land is now being mined and has been leased out. So it's very, very close to the cemetery, which probably will stir up a lot of activity. So that's Spring Hill Cemetery. Across the road, we've got the Lykes Ayers Cemetery. According to the Brooksville Pit, the oldest graves date back to the 1700s, which include graves of Confederate soldiers. This cemetery is in an absolute state of ruin. You can't even get there. You can't even really find it on a map. There's no way to find it. The graves are all sunken in, and this land has been forgotten about completely. I did see recently a group that was trying to revitalize the area and restore the cemeteries for the historical part, but I haven't seen any updates on that. So one group that sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
One group that investigated this area felt a sense of being watched and heaviness, very heavy feeling there. They also reported a strong smell of liquor. And it's very difficult on both of this cemeteries in this little area to get adequate records relating to it due to the courthouse experiencing a fire in 1872. So all the accurate records that they had that could tell the whole story were destroyed at that time. But yeah, we've both been there. What was your thoughts on it?
So when we went there, this was I think the pinnacle. I still have that group photo of you, me, Edwin. I think your son was with us, and then two other people. I saw that big group photo that we took of that night under the hanging tree. And I'm actually going to post that in the Discord. And I'm gonna send it to you to post on our social medias. But I don't know if you remember, but I think like the biggest draw for me for that cemetery was probably the hanging tree, and still seeing the almost, I guess I wouldn't call it like burnt in, but like the marking of the rope. It's very faint in the picture, but you know, I remember when we went, I shined my flashlight up and I could like see it clearly, and the energy around that tree was just absolutely unreal. I mean, if you all ever in the daytime, please explore it in the daytime. You know, if there's a funeral there or whatever, just respect the people.
With permission.
With permission, yeah.
Because it's locked, usually.
Yeah, don't go there and break in. We're not condoning breaking and entering into sacred ground, because it very much is still people's final resting place. But if you all ever get the chance to go for whatever reason, and you have permission, and you get to explore the cemetery, whether that be during the daytime or during the nighttime, absolutely amazing energy there. Some of it's negative. You can kind of around some of the graves. I caught a little bit of whiff of negative energy, and more of, I wouldn't say like malevolent, but more of like, who the hell are you, and why are you on our property? Like, why are you here? You know, and that's kind of the energy that we picked up. But I actually wanted to point out the Lykes Cemetery is now searchable. You can find it on Google Maps. I just found it. It is, I'm not going to give out the address, but I can say this. It is the Lykes Family Cemetery, and the reason it was hidden for so long on a map search was because the descendants of the Lykes family actually took it off of the 911 address system and completely like avoided it and said it doesn't exist anymore and made it a private cemetery, family cemetery. You couldn't find it. As of recently, they have put it back on the 911 records for Hernando County. And so you can find it. From the most recent picture that I am seeing, the graves do look sunken in. The aerial view, they do look absolutely. They look. It it looks like it's almost actually been wiped out. Like a lot of the gravestones have been removed,
Mm.
which leads me to believe two things. One, there is, of course, two private houses on that property.
Right.
So one, the new property owners are like, look, we probably really don't like this. We're going to remove them, and it might not have been that, right? I don't want to speak bad on their behalf, because I don't know either of these families that live near or on the Lykes Family Cemetery grounds. But it does look like the graves have been, the headstones anyhow, have been completely removed. So that could lead to property issues or whatever, or like, hey, this is private property now. Like, did they relocate the bodies? Did they just remove the headstones and just let them rest peacefully? Or, I'm not sure what the county of Hernando decided to do with that property. But you can find it, but you cannot enter it. As looking like on Google Maps, there is two entrances to the old Lykes Family Cemetery. Both entrances look to be gated off completely by a privatized gate system. So, yet again, people are living in the houses that are beside the Lykes Family Cemetery, and it looks like it's overgrown too. So that means it's probably just no longer, no longer in use. I don't think anyone's been buried there since 2016. So that was probably the last burial at
That
Lykes.
late. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what it looks like. And that picture from 2016 from Find a Grave, if you really want to kind of search it, um, it is Lykes Family Cemetery. I'm not gonna tell y'all how to spell them and let y'all figure that one out. Because I do want to be careful because if you all go out and explore these places, please be mindful. Like I'm not incriminating us, right? Um, we were just lucky the night that we went. Gates were unlocked. We were lucky. We didn't run into a homeless person. We didn't smell alcohol that night. I didn't, at least I didn't, the night that we went. But it was a surreal feeling. I remember we parked like right up the road and we walked down into the cemetery grounds, and that was probably one of the creepiest walks I had ever done. It was the most surreal walk because it's like we're going into a cemetery at night. There's like a group of us, and we're just like, so what are we looking for? I don't know, ghosts. I don't fucking know. Yeah, you're gonna find ghosts in the cemetery. You're disturbing their resting place. But as far as that cemetery, it's probably some of the most tormented history, right? Because when we went on the property, if I remember correctly, if you're coming through the gate, I would call it let's say it was the east side of the cemetery or the west side, depending on which way you're facing. I think it's the east side if you're coming in for the main gate. That's where the supposed slaughterhouse was. And now, when Christina mentioned the slaughterhouse, um, here's just a little bit ago, because that county was so backwards for so long. It didn't really progress for years and years and years. Hernando County actually stayed in a state of regression almost instead of progression.
Right.
For all those years, the KKK, you know, they had, and multiple residents have, known about it. We just couldn't find it, but they said, yeah, no, there's a slaughterhouse on the cemetery. Like now,
Right.
whether it was a slaughterhouse from like maybe an old farm land, who knows? But the fact that everyone in Brooksville that I ever talked to about it said no, it was owned by the KKK, that tells me one thing and one thing only: lynchings, murders, and
Right.
and they probably got away with it because like it's a slaughterhouse. So like they're thinking, the state's thinking, oh well, there's probably slaughtering beef there or your livestock. No, they're slaughtering humans. And so that it definitely is one of the creepier but most amazing cemeteries I personally have ever visited. And the big experience, and I think I caught it on video or audio, was the little girl, the little girl's grave
Hmm.
that had the dolls that we were told to give an offering to. That's kind of
Right.
the big thing. He talked to us for like 2 seconds or whatever. She had spoken out to us, but you could feel her energy kind of around you, and you could hear her giggling almost. Like I could hear her giggling. And it's just like, sweetest kid in the world. But yeah, you really do. There are things there that you can tell rituals have been done there.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that be a good ritual or a bad ritual, something's
I
been
know of
done
both.
there.
I know of
But
both.
I'm with you. It's both because like, there's no way that spirits would be that restless if someone hadn't came in and done some type of a bad ritual, whether that be digging up grave dirt for a hex, which is if you're a young witch or warlock and you're learning to practice and you're just getting into it, please, whatever you do, don't go dig up grave dirt. It's not your grave dirt. It doesn't belong to you. Because if you disturb someone, they're just going to be pissed off and they're going to fucking hate you. So
Right.
don't do that. Please, for the love of God. Like I said, I don't condone breaking into the cemetery. Like Christina said, get permission. But if you'll ever get the chance to go, please go. It is freaking fabulous.
Right.
I
I think
actually. Mhm.
I think the remoteness adds to it for me anyways. I didn't really feel anything negative that night. I felt a lot of peacefulness, and I just think the remoteness of it adds to the mystery because it's the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it's literally the middle of nowhere, Hernando County. I mean, you're
Yeah,
literally out in the sticks. Like, no one's going to hear you scream.
right.
And I think, what was it? Before we did that, we drove Fort Dade Road because there's a
Right.
YouTuber. I'm not going to name them because of um, certain things that they have done in the paranormal world that are frowned upon. Um, but anyhow, we drove Fort Dade Road, and there's supposed to be a screaming lady near the cemetery. She got in like a terrible
Mm-hmm.
car crash. I think what
Mm-hmm.
was it, the 60s or 70s or something like that. She got a terrible, terrible car crash. You can still hear her screaming, supposedly, and
Right.
supposedly you can get handprints on your car. The night that we drove it, we didn't get any handprints on the car. We didn't hear anyone. The only thing we saw was a bunch of rednecks cruising up and down.
It
At
was very
like,
dark that night as well. That was
yeah,
scary in itself.
yeah, it was like 11 o'clock at night, and we're like, like these rednecks like were watching us, like they were watching us hard, going, who the fuck are these people? And like, because you just see like a group of people with flashlights out walking around,
Because
on
it's not
Fort Dade
normal.
Road. Yeah, it's not. No, not in the middle of
Not
Hernando
normal,
County.
not there.
But it's normal for us. So that's kind of a plus. But yeah, no, I plan. Hopefully this summer, I actually plan to come back down to Florida and visit, and hopefully you and I can link back up and do a little bit of video recording and picture taking again, and probably not of inside the cemetery, but I'm gonna see if I can get a hold of the property records for the Lykes Family Cemetery and see who
Hmm.
physically owns the houses on the Lykes property. And I'm going to
Right.
see if I can talk them into letting us go back to the cemetery and do an investigation. Now, will it happen? Who knows? I mean, honestly, the less people we bring, the better, more than likely. Excuse me, the better, more than likely. Because I don't want like a group of us hooping and a hollering in a cemetery at like 1 o'clock in the
Right.
morning.
Right.
But I want to do it during the witching hour. The supposed witching hour, which is what, 3 o'clock, I think, is
3
what.
o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 a.m. is like the most spiritually open. The veil kind of unfolds itself as I've been told. I'm not sure how that really
Yes.
goes, but I've never really known 3 o'clock to be the witching hour. Any time can. I mean, as long as you have the right shit and you have a good base, I think any time can be the witching hour. But I think it's like 3 o'clock's the most ominous, because the number three and the number 13, whatever. But yes, my thoughts on that is that's amazing. I didn't know that the likes was actually part of the old Fort Dade Cemetery.
Yep. Back
Um,
in the day. But the road has been there for a long, long time. And it separated the two.
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That is really. I wonder if one of the old houses that are on the Likes property was the gravekeeper's house
Mm.
slash chapel. That would be
So
interesting to know.
the one house that's like in between the two,
Yeah.
It's like a little farm. They have cows and stuff there. The house doesn't look that old. Now there's another house that could be possible. It looks a little older. I have to look
Yeah,
into it.
yeah. I'm looking on Google Maps. I see the farmhouse, but then I also see like the. Okay, so I see the address. I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So that one looks older. Yeah. 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 That one looks older. Like I said, I'm not gonna say this one podcast because I don't want to get anyone in trouble. I don't want to get us in trouble.
Of course.
You know.
Of
But
course.
yeah, no, that's just. Woo. Oh man, I
So
love
remember
that.
how I said that the mine is now mining very close to it? They are able to mine as close as 200 feet from the cemetery.
So I wonder if anyone's buried outside that property line where the cemetery supposedly stops.
I mean, if all the records got burned up in the early days, who knows?
That's very true, and especially with all the graves, you know.
Mhm. Right. And it started Civil War time, so who knows?
Yeah, yeah, about the time the May Stringer house,
Right.
Civil War time. So I mean, who's not to say that people who died in the May Stringer aren't buried on either the Lykes or the Fort Dade? So that would
That's a
be
great question.
that would be really interesting to know. Like, I'm half tempted to call that museum back and be like, hey, I have like 5 questions I need to ask you, and it's very important that you know these answers, or can get me these answers, because that would be really interesting to know. Like, I was like, okay, so like, let's say Civil War soldier John Smith, right? It's a common name.
Right.
John Smith is buried on the Lykes property, but his brother in whatever black guy joined the infantry and like fucking got
Mhm.
buried over at the Fort Dade one. It's like, so then like you connect the two and it's like, holy shit, like that's fucking history.
Right.
uh
That would be pretty cool.
that
I
would
don't
be.
remember them. I know they talked about it when we did the tour, because I've done the tour a couple times, but I don't remember because there's another cemetery in Brooksville too that's not too far from the May Stringer house,
Yeah,
but
that one.
it's
Isn't
not
that one
as
behind?
scary.
Isn't that one behind the Stringer house?
No, there is one on the Stringer House property, but the one that I'm talking about is kind of down the hill if you were going to go out of town, over by the hot dog, Coney Island. It's down over that way.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. uh
Hmm.
isn't that isn't that Olivia Street Cemetery?
I don't remember the name of it. I feel like it's Brooksville Cemetery, but
Yeah, that's the main one. We drove by that one. um No, it's Hope Hill. That's where it is. Hope Hill Cemetery. Hope Hill's right down. Yeah, I think it's Hope Hill. I'll have to look that up again. I think because yeah, oh yeah, there's Brooksville. Yeah, okay. So Hope Hill
right.
and Brooksville aren't far from each other, but Brooksville is the
No.
closest to the May Stringer.
Yes. So, and that one was established in 1887. It was originally known as the Chilkachati Cemetery.
Yes, and the most infamous person buried there, um, is apparently a woman. So she has her own like plaque. It's called the Grave of Charlotte Wine Piles Crumb. She has her own plaque there at the Brooksville Cemetery. Oh my gosh, it's a beautiful cemetery. Oh, the mausoleum is
It
so
is.
pretty.
It is definitely beautiful. It's a little bit, um, what's the word? More manicured, I guess you could say,
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
than our little, Spring Hill Cemetery. But, um, I mean, vandalism. We
Oh
know that
God.
there was a lot of criminal activity in Spring Hill Cemetery, drug dealing and whatnot. We know that. We know people went there and destroyed stuff, which is why they've locked it up.
I mean,
So,
rightfully so. You have no
yeah.
cameras on that cemetery, and most cemeteries don't, out of privacy and respect. But yeah, no, the criminal activity there is, God, Hernando County is, I think, known for just criminal
Where
activity. Like,
everybody knows, like, that's why the place is so scary. Like, stay away from there because you never know what you're going to run into.
Well, right, and especially in today's world, and I carry, and I'm sure you carry.
Right.
But like, if we ever go back and it's getting dusk, but the cemetery's still unlocked, like I would want to park our car like right there at the gate, so that
Right.
way, no one can bother anything. Okay, sorry, I thought my cat was screaming for a second because my dog was bothering her, but no, my dog's being a good little boy, just sitting by me. All right, so I love this video so much. Mine, um, mine is a bit of a local legend, and when I mean local, I mean in my hometown, not just
Hmm.
only in my hometown, but in my family. So
Okay.
yeah, this is interesting. So my family, I'm not going to say which side, but my family has been part of this town for one, two, three, four generations, five generations. So my family has been in this town for a very, very long time that I live in, and they have helped build up tons of buildings. My grandfather worked on the Mason Lodge that's in town. Like I
Mhm.
can see it from my apartment. He built part of the railroad. My great grandfather, um, helped set up the railroad. My great 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 grandfather helped build houses for the miners and for everything. So like I said, I've got like history in this town. Like my family's name is very well known around here, and it can be a good thing or a bad thing. But my family's also known for going really crazy, and I mean absolutely nuts. They're mountain people. That's all they've ever been. They came here a very long time ago, and so they're fucking crazy. Um, there were two houses that was built in, I want to say, the 19 one was built in the 1950s and the other was built in the 1920s. Yeah, 1920s. So the one that was built in the 1920s is the oldest. That is my great grandmother's. No, my great grandmother's was built in the 1920s. She had bought it from one of the railroad merchants because he had built it, and it's just beautiful Victorian style, mini Victorian style house with a bit of a farmhouse aesthetic. So it's kind of a weird kind of in between. But um, so over the years, you know, families go and generations and people pass, and the big thing here in this town was families take care of each other. They don't send them to the nursing home. They don't really send them to the hospital. Like back then, health insurance wasn't, what it was. And of course, doctors just wanted money. That's all they were going to reap you for is money, just like they are today. But back in 1978, my grandmother's house, the one that was built a little bit later, is a farmhouse sitting on a hill. And my great uncle got super sick. And I mean, like, super, super sick. He was bedridden. My grandmother said, "I'll take care of
Oh, wow.
him. We'll put him upstairs." And that's where they put him upstairs at the farmhouse. Then, of course, all my family had already moved out of my grandmother's house. All the kids had moved out. So it was just her and my grandfather at the time. Well, my grandfather ends up getting bedridden, and he ends up passing away. Well, my grandmother then is just left to take care of my great uncle, and he, is just declining in health. And there's my he's declining in health and everything like that. And great uncle gets super sick. Grandpa's already passed. Now it's just my grandmother and uh, and my great uncle. Well, the story goes in the family, and this is how it's been passed down to like all of the grandkids and my cousins and the great grandkids and all that. Is my grandmother was like taking care of him, and as she was taking care of him, he needed a special medication, and the local drugstore in town had that medication, and she clearly remembers telling him she'll be right back. She's gonna go grab it. One of the kids was sitting with my great uncle. One of her kids was sitting with my great uncle, and scared the living shit out of them because my grandfather, or not my grandfather, when my great uncle passed. He was with one of her kids, and the way that it was told was the one of my family members was downstairs. Grandmother's getting medication, and my family member hears this guttural, like, just like he can't catch his breath. And I'm thinking that's the death rattle. Everyone knows what it sounds like if you're in the medical field or, you work in a nursing, whatever. If you're in the medical field, you know what the death rattle sounds like, more than likely, or you'll be introduced to the death rattle. But my family member said, like, it sounded like they were choking and they couldn't gasp for air, and, like, they were just, like, they were writhing in their bed. So this was a very traumatic death. So a lot of energy was attached to this death. And my family member ran upstairs and just saw my great uncle, like, gripped at the sheets, back is arched, can't catch breath, and then finally just lets out this cough, and just blood goes everywhere, all over his face.
Oh gosh.
I mean,
Okay,
just
that's not.
shoots out, right? So, like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
thinking that's not the death rattle. That's like something collapsing, or like,
Right.
I don't know what he died from. No clue. Don't really need to know. Honestly, I'm a-okay with that.
Right.
But so anyway, so he passes. Of course, my family members calling 911 at the time. Of course, there's no cell phones, back then. So,
Right.
it's whatever. So anyhow, so grandmother gets back, and my family member runs downstairs. They're in tears. They're just sobbing. I mean, absolutely sobbing, scared to death. Doesn't know what happened. And they're like, great uncle passed away. To them it was just uncle, but to me it's great uncle. So, like, great uncle passed away. And she's like, what? And she runs up the stairs, and she says she gets up there, and, like, the very first thing she sees is just a blood covered face, and he's lifeless. He's gray. Lips are blue. He's already passed.
Mm-hmm.
But she says the one thing she felt was like this, like, angry, like, negative, like, she said she felt sick to her stomach. Now, it could have just been the stress, because this
Sure.
was a family member. But she said she felt
Traumatic.
like, yeah, very traumatic, right? But she said she felt instantly sick to her stomach, and her throat started burning, like as if she had swallowed, like, a hot pepper or something. Well, they called the funeral home. They picked up my great uncle. Of course, they did the autopsy, and they said, oh, well, apparently something had happened in the lungs and the
Mm-hmm.
esophagus, and he is essentially thrown up. And it just, I guess, the acid from the stomach, I guess, just ate away. And I guess he was continuously, without, like, actually throwing up, like, I guess it was just continuously trying to, like, come up. And of course, his
Mm-hmm.
muscles are relaxed on the death rattle, so it's like you can't really clear that.
Can't get anything
Uh,
out. Right.
yeah, so, it just kind of let him be as he is. But I guess it essentially choked him, and
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of how he died.
Yeah.
But anyhow, fast forward years down the road now. Now it is like 2000 and I want to say like 2007, 2006. Yeah, 2006 is when it actually was. 2006. I'm in the house with my grandmother. She has dementia at this time now. Her mind has gone, just like every family member before her. Her mind goes. The whole family has a history of dementia and other mental ailments. But anyhow, so I'm sitting and I'm watching her. I wouldn't say babysitting, but I'm watching her. I'm helping take care of her. And she goes to bed, and she says, all right, good night. She calls me by my great uncle's name. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not blah, blah, blah. I'm your grandson. And she says, well, you need to go up there and go on to bed with other family member. And I was like, they don't live here anymore. And, like, it's
Right.
almost as if she kept seeing my great uncle, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm adopted, so I look like no one in the family, not a single soul. So I don't get the disease. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I'm pretty sure, like, my old age, 90 years old, I'm gonna be like, who are you again? And I'm looking at like 5 kids. But anyway, so um, so she goes to bed, and I'm up late at night, and of course at this time, 2006, 2007. Dr. G, medical examiner, is on the Sci-Fi Channel, and I fall in love with his show. Right, I am all about death and mortuaries and embalming and just like wonderfulness. Right, so hang on one second again. So I'm up there watching Dr. G, medical examiner. Watching her do this, like, it's a show, so they're not actually going to show the decedents and the deceased. And so anyway, so she's doing a thing, and then all of a sudden I hear footsteps. I'm like, did my grandmother get up? So I like kind of get up from the couch and I peep in her bedroom, and she's not. She had to sleep, not doing anything, just kind of sleep, whatever. I'm like, okay, well, that's weird. So I sat back down. I hear him again. And this time I hear him like directly above me, where my great uncle was kept when he passed.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so I'm going, what the heck? Now I've always been afraid of the upstairs of this house. Ever since I was little, it has scared the living daylights out of me. I think it's the way the house was like designed. It's very closed off, very dark. So I've always been really scared of the house. Always had really bad energy from it. But anyhow, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be a brave boy. I'm going to put on my big boy pants. I'm like 16 at the time, 15, 16 at the time. And I get this old Magnum flashlight, not Magnum condom. I'm aware there's two companies called Magnum, and this is a Magnum flashlight. You can still buy them on eBay. You cannot buy them on Amazon. You try to search Magnum on Amazon, the very first thing comes up with is protection. But anyhow, so I grabbed this old like flashlight from the 90s, and it's like got dying batteries, so the light's flickering. It's a halogen style bulb. So I'm already creeped out now. So it's flickering like, oh shit. So like I slowly open the door, and I get this like waft of cold, bone chilling air. Not even like, not this is how part of the house isn't getting heat, because it wasn't. But this was a bone chilling. I mean, it felt like the house in general is normally kept at like 64, 65 at this time of the year that I was staying with her. But this felt like the coldest air I have ever felt in my life. I mean, I just opened the door and I just got this bone chilling air, and I shone the flashlight upstairs. I'm like, hello. And um, I don't hear anything. And I kind of step back. I'm like, okay. And then out of fucking nowhere, oh my god, this part creeps me the fuck out. I hear footsteps coming towards me down the steps, like running towards me. So I jump back, I scream, I drop the flashlight, and I like run to my grandmother's room. Bear in mind, I'm a teenager, right? So, you know, I'm a teenager, and I like get beside my grandmother, and I kind of just lay on the bed. She's covered up, but I like lay on the bed, and I get this like blanket that I have that she has sitting on the chair, and I grab it and I put it over me. I was kind of laying there, not moving, not saying a word. I'm breathing shallow, like trying not to wake her up, because I don't know if she heard my scream or not, but she didn't toss or turn or anything. So I'm like, she's still asleep. I lay there for like a few more minutes, like 5 total minutes, and I hear the footsteps again, and this time they're coming back down the stairs, and they sound like they're running.
Yikes.
And so I'm like, I gotta be brave. Maybe someone's in the fucking house. I was like, you can get in this house if you like jump on the back of the hill and jump on the roof and then climb down onto the porch roof. So you can get in this house, right? It's not hard to break into. And it's where it's located in the town, kind of a druggy area. So like maybe someone broke in, maybe they're looking for something. So I get back up, get my flashlight, no one there, no one on the steps, nothing. So I go upstairs, I turn the lights on, and all I just see, is just junk and trash over the years that, the family's kept and, whatever. And of course, I still see my great uncle's bed. Now, of course, it's just the frame. The bed itself has been destroyed years ago. But I step in the room and I just breathe, and I can see my breath. It is so cold up there in like his room. I could physically see my breath, and I could feel myself tense up. And I'm like, hello, hello. And I'm shining the flashlight everywhere. And this room has no light at the time. Light bulb's busted. So there's like 2 rooms upstairs. And this room, the room that he was kept in, has no light. So all it is a flashlight and the light from the first room. And so I'm shining the flashlight around. I'm like looking, maybe it's an animal, maybe it's a raccoon. Something got in from the chimney that has been like broken for years. So I start like knocking on walls and like knocking on the ceiling with like a stick I find, and like nothing responds to me. And so I turn around, and as I'm going back down the stairs, I just hear like someone like, you know, kind of like when you sigh, you're like, is that like an annoyed sigh? Like
Breath.
I heard that.
Right.
Yeah, I heard that behind me. I have never jumped off of a flight of stairs in my life. I did that night. I fucking did that night. I, I jumped off the steps, hit the first floor, slammed the door shut, turned the flashlight off, went into my room that I was supposed to be staying in. I shut that door so quick, I laid underneath my own covers, and I turned my CD player on that I had. I had a Walkman CD player still. I turned that on. I had
Nice.
Britney Spears in it. And that's what I listened to fall asleep, was Britney Spears' Circus album. But that is the most terrifying experience, and that's not the only thing, right? So like that's my great uncle's. Now my great grandmother's house, which is the one that's older and built beside it. Um, I had two uncles that are great uncles as well that passed away in that house. One of them was known to be very, very mean in real life, or when he was alive, not real life, but when he was alive, he was very, very mean, very cold, very disgruntled. He never really liked anyone in the family. All the family kind of stayed away from him.
Hmm.
When she passed, in the house, you can actually enter the house now to this day. You can still enter my great grandmother's house. Can't enter my grandmother's because someone's currently living there, but you can enter my great grandmother's. It's very dilapidated, and I'll share pictures with you and stuff. But that house has had no power for God 25, 25 years. It's had no power for 20, 25 years, right? So
Hmm.
no power at all. When me and my wife first got married, we temporarily lived in my grandmother's house. Not my great grandmother's, but my grandmother's, because she has since been in the nursing home. No one was there to really keep up the property, so like I'll do it. Like me and my wife will do it. So we moved in. Of course, we had our own experiences there still that I won't go into detail this round, but I'll go in further detail later on. But anyhow, so bear in mind, this house has not had power for 25 years. When me and her were living in there back in 2011, 12, 2011,
Hmm.
2012, we're it's late at night. We're watching TV and everything like that, and we go to bed. And the way my grandmother's room, the room that we now slept in at the time in 2012, faces my great grandmother's house. Well, there's some sheer curtains, so you can kind of still see out at night. You can't really see in, but you can kind of see out at night. And it's a summer night, so I have the window cracked and letting the breeze flow through, and we're like relaxing. Of course, I'm facing the window. I'm the closest to the window, so I can kind of see everything that's going on. Well, I'm dozing off to sleep, and right when I'm getting ready to go to sleep, all of a sudden I just see lights click on in my great grandmother's house, and I'm like, that house has no power. And it's the
Wow.
front porch light that clicks on, and I'm like, that house has no power. So I call my cousin who lives across the street from my grandmother's house, and I'm like, hey, are you still up? He goes, yeah. I'm like, do you see a light on the porch on great grandmother's house? And he pops his head out the door and he goes, holy shit, I do. And about that time, the light goes off. And I was like, what the fuck? And then the upstairs light, where one of my great uncles, who was very mean in real life, his light comes on. And I'm like, this house has no power. Like, I tell myself, this house has no power. There's no power meter. There's no generator. Like, this house should not be lit up at all. Like, there hasn't been power to this house in years. And so I freak out. He freaks out. I wait till daytime and I go over there, and it looks like someone had literally been living in the house, like still to that day, back then. And I get upstairs and I'm looking through all the rooms and everything, and because this house is now dilapidated and everything like that, so it's very sketchy. But I turned to my great uncle's room where he had passed, in the very back of the house where that light came on at, that up at the top on the second floor. And as like I say hello, the bulb bursts, just like
What?
pops. It's like it over electrocuted, like it got too much wattage through it, and it just pops. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I like zip down the stairs, out the house. across to my cousin's house. And I'm like, you need to come to this house. Like, get inside with me. So we're both freaking out. And he's like, nah, I ain't going in there. So, like, he's superstitious. Right? He's very, very scared of the paranormal world. But when that light burst, it put like, and this was an older bulb. I mean, this was an old bulb, probably from the 60s, like a Sylvania, whatever bulb. It's just old glass, whatever.
Incandescent
Yeah, an
bulb.
incandescent bulb.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it burst, it shattered glass everywhere, but it shattered with such force and it was so hot, it melted like part of the old mattress that was still up there. And I went back the next day with my wife and we searched the room. Nothing happened when she was with me, but like we searched the room and I could like see, like she saw this tear and I saw this like box. There was like $500 that my great uncle had stashed away. She didn't want anyone to find it. So we found like $500.
Wow.
But the scary thing is, to this day, I can still go in my great grandmother's house. And you can't get up to the second floor anymore safely. Anyhow, you can get up to the top landing of the very last like thing of steps, and you can look onto the second floor, but you cannot walk on the second floor. But you can still see the bulb is still there. I'll take a picture, and my great uncle's mattress is still up there. Um, it this house has been ransacked. It's got animals in it before. This house is super old, but like it is a local legend, and I won't tell you the name of the house, just simply because protect my family's privacy and protect the property's privacy. But in my town is a local legend. All the teenagers go there every Halloween. They always find a way into the house. We've tried to lock it up every which way. It doesn't work. But yeah, it is a local legend. Like, go in the old lady greenhouse and like you'll see this, and this, and like there's been rituals done in there. I mean, you can still see like burn marks in the carpet where someone's done a ritual. You can see someone's drawing a pentagram on the mirror for the Bloody Mary thing. Yeah, it's a local legend. It's probably one of the scarier houses I've ever been in, but it's one of the most amazing. It's so beautiful. It's like it's a Victorian farmhouse. So freaking pretty.
Right.
But yeah,
So that's
that is
your cue that you need to restore the house.
the bones are bad.
Gotcha.
The bones are bad. We have looked. We have looked at restoring this house multiple times. The family has. We've gotten appraisers out there. The property is worth next to nothing. Property, I think they said, is worth like $100 because it's such a small like piece of land.
Right.
The house itself, if the bones weren't bad in it, and as I say the bones, but like the structural integrity, if it was not bad, the house itself could still sell for $75,000. To repair it is $285,000.
It's a labor of love for sure.
Oh, it is. I mean, it is absolute labor of love, but it's probably one of. I will have to send you a video of this house. It is so
Yeah.
freaking gorgeous. But because it sits right in front of a creek, the very back porch in that video that I'll send you, you'll see like the back porch is completely sunken in. But,
Right.
My family, we all helped restore that house over the years and over the years. And then after my great grandmother passed and everyone else passed who was living in the house, it just sat abandoned. And it's one of the few houses, I think, in my town that people talk about on a regular basis. Like, everyone knows that house. Everyone knows who's tied to that house. And it's so unreal to like have a legend like that, because to have activity like that, it's like almost like horror movies, right? You like think it's like, oh, the light bulb burst, it's a horror movie thing. You never think it would happen to you because it's not real, right? That's just cinematics. No, like the fact that this happened tells me like two things. Either when they took the meter out, they, hot wired some other way to the house to get power, because there's still power lines connecting to the house, or
Right.
something arced from the house beside it and just accidentally sent voltage over. Like, there's got to be a scientific, logical explanation, but I can't think of anything that would make sense to give this house power at all. Like, I can't. And the fact that it's like, it played out like a horror movie is what scared me the most. Like it played out like an actual cinematic horror movie, like the light bulbs popping. Like I thought I was gonna hear voices, but like I'm just running the fuck down the 2 flights of stairs, and it just you really got to come up and see this house. It's so much fun to explore.
Sounds like it. We definitely need to do that. I have a lot of cool tools now.
But yeah, so yeah, that is my thing. There's deeper history into that house though, but it's just like I have to be careful. I have to figure out how to word it
Right.
because if I don't, everyone will know. And like,
Right.
especially
And
people in the family that hears this, they'd be like, "Why are you talking about Gurkha about this house online?" I'm like, "I don't know. Strangers want to hear it."
and you don't want people going there and destroying it any further or getting hurt. So,
Yeah, no, definitely, because you absolutely can get hurt, in that house. And of course, destroying, vandalism could definitely happen. But the my main thing would be someone getting hurt, because of just how rotted the house is now.
right.
I mean, right now we're fighting with the city to try to actually get it demolished, because it's getting ready to fall on the road. If
Oh,
it goes
wow.
through one more winter, the house is going to physically fall in the road, the main road that gets you out of
Yikes.
town down the mountain. Yeah, like
Wow.
it's bad. It's really, really bad. The porch is starting to disconnect from the house, at least the porch roof. Things are just, it's not. That
Man,
house has been abandoned
bad.
for, God, 48 years. That house has been abandoned for 48 years.
So you don't think that maybe it was paranormal energy that happened with the light bulb?
I don't know. That's the thing, because when like I got up there, unlike my grandmother's house where I felt that cold air, right? That
Mm-hmm.
kind of energy around me. This one, I felt nothing, right? I didn't feel like any warm, cold, negativity, positive. I felt nothing. Like it was neutral. Like it was just a still empty house. Um, but just like the way it burst in it was anger. Like it's almost like the bulb itself was angry, or
Right.
something was angry that I was there. Like I shouldn't be there. And so,
Mm-hmm.
like, when it burst, that's what scared the shit out of me. So I don't know if it was like an arc from the house that's like beside it that shares the same power line run, or if maybe they never fully disconnected something. Because so when this house was built, it's not up to code for electricity. So like, something could have went awry, but I went and flipped all the switches and nothing came on. Right, so like no lights came on for me. Like when I went in there before that bulb burst, no lights came on. I did closets, bathrooms,
Wow.
stove, so nothing was working. So like it had no power, right? So, and it wasn't
Fascinating.
raining that day. It wasn't storming. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
windy. It wasn't. There was no trees on the power lines, because that would kind of be the only, like, I guess, obvious. Like there was nothing
Right.
connecting the main power line to the house, except for the power line itself. Like there was no wood or metal. Like there was nothing out of the ordinary that could connect and create a circuit. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever happened that day didn't want me there. Like it strictly made sure, because like if a bulb burst, it just kind of pop, and you're like, oh gosh, bulb burst. No,
Right.
this was a bomb, is what it felt like. I mean, it's just angry, and it just exploded, and
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. Like I'm like, this is fucking horror movie. There's no way this is real. But yeah, so I'm not sure if someone or something didn't want me there, but that house still gives off negative energy,
Hmm.
to this day, during certain parts of the year. Sometimes it's very dull and it's not very noticeable. Other times you step in that house and the very first thing you're hit with is like, oh, you don't want me here. You don't like me.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
it's that first floor. When you go through that front door, you get the feeling of, you don't want me. Like you're telling me to leave. Like it almost pushes you out. It's
Dang.
so it's very palatable of an energy. And you can feel it kind of all around you until you like step over that threshold and like say, hey, I'm not here to disturb you. I'm just here to look around. Then it kind of like lingers away. But you feel like you're being watched at all times.
And then with it not being hooked up to electricity, it couldn't be the EMF. Like it just couldn't be.
No, there's
Like,
no
yeah,
EMF to it. I mean, if I
right,
would bring out an EMF meter right now to that house, it's dead. There's
right.
no, and the other thing was, like if I go out to it nowadays, right? Like, so I could take my cell phone out there and record a video. I could go out there with like 90% battery. I could leave that house after being there for 5 minutes and I'm down to 64%.
Wow.
So, I mean, it drains energy. So there's something has happened in that house over the years that either someone did a ritual or because of that person that was alive that lived there at one point before they passed, because of their negative energy, they left a big
Hmm.
impression and they just left a
Sure.
lot of energy behind. And unfortunately, it's manifested itself. But also, too, people go into preconceived notion of like this house is haunted, like this house is like, ooh, this is a bad house, So like
Right.
people's energy is feeding it, too. So
Hmm.
it's like it's getting all that energy. It's like, oh yeah, this is a bad fucking house. I'm gonna scare the shit out of someone next time they come in here. But like I try to go in with a clear mind, but even when I go in with a clear mind and like nothing attached to me and I've like saged myself and saged the door and like saged everything, that I'm holding, it's still like, why are you here? Like it's not a curious, it's like it's more of a like, why I don't want you here, why are you here? Like get out.
Yeah, like leave me alone.
It's very much leave me alone. Very, very much. And I can't tell if it's a male or a female presence. That's the other thing. And I'm pretty sure it's a male presence, but it masks itself to almost like you can't tell whether it's like that heavy like sometimes you can tell presences and ghosts, like kind of whether they're male or female. You can kind of feel kind of how the energy flows, but like this one is just angry all the time and just does not want you near it anywhere in the house, and it will make sure that it gets you out one way or another. So
Awesome.
yeah, so yeah. Comments, questions, or concerns?
Um, no, no, no concerns. I just
Comments,
wish there
questions.
was a way to, preserve it.
I do too. God, if I could find a way to preserve it, I absolutely would. It would be the house to preserve.
Fascinating. Definitely have to check it out though.
Oh yeah, I'm for sure gonna send you the video. But anyway, do we have anything else? Did we research anything else, or are we letting our listeners go with the aspiration to hunt ghosts and find out what the truth is, or scary truth? I'm not sure how we end that one.
Scary truth.
Scary truth. I don't fucking know. Um, but yeah. So, well, listeners, thank you all for tuning in. For chapter 2, chapter 1, whatever. Thank you for tuning in to As the Skeleton Key Turns. Of course, I always am the wonderful, lovely Grayson, and I am always joined by my wonderful, lovely other host, Christina. Please don't forget to check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, SoundCloud. I will have all the information for the Discord linked in the description on Spotify. You can find us there, or I'll have it linked in SoundCloud or whatever. So regardless, or on Facebook, so you can always join us there. You can kind of listen in with us and kind of join us and chat in with us if you absolutely want to. We would love to hear your stories and anything like that, or send us stories, or send us no sleep stories. Like, give us a time like you're at a gas station, you're the overnight attendant in the middle of fucking nowhere at a Go Mart or a 7-Eleven, and it's like some creepy dude comes out. I don't fucking know. Like, give us something,
Yeah,
because who knows what's out there, right? I mean, there's so much that we've yet to unlock and kind of like look behind the door and go, what the fuck? And just kind of enjoy it. It's almost a thrill for me. But that's how I explain it. But yes, yet
for
again, thank you
sure.
for tuning. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. We hope that you enjoy this podcast. Um, if there's anything that we can change or do whatever, give us suggestions. tell us, hey, stop making your dog bark in the middle of a fucking set. We can do that. Granted, it might be a little hard, but I'm pretty sure we can run that. If you have any places you want us to go or anywhere that you want us to like check out and later on we can travel, if it's very close in proximity to us, send us places. If there's there's the May Stringer House, didn't the Whalen, was it the Whalen House or the Whalen Museum, the music museum get torn down or shut down? Wait, was it Whalen or Whaley? Whaley Music Club. That's what it was. The Whaley Music Club. They got shut down. Because there's not enough attendance and so much spooky shit was happening. But yes, over the next few years, we hope you enjoy our podcasts, our stories, our findings, and our talking. I don't know how we do this thing, but we'll figure it out all together. Yet again, have a wonderful day, and thank you for listening to As the Skeleton Key Turns.